Hello and welcome back to Blast Away the Game Review. Today we're here to give you a review that's not too short nor too long about Hardcore Mecha, a recently released 2D side-scrolling title that packs the 90s action of Mega Man with the chaos of a bullet hell shooter that's filled to the brim with mecha-adorned love. When it comes to graphics, you have to take in what is put before you, but not just the graphics themselves, but the performance when it comes to being said and done. Here, that is no different. Graphics and performance are two key elements that help drive such a fast-paced title forward, ensuring that fans get the most out of the game, but also ensuring that their graphics remain on point. One key point of this are the graphics themselves, which use a highly detailed, hand-drawn style for characters and mecha suits that draw heavy inspiration from franchises such as Gundam, Macross, and many more. Trust me when I say this, if you build Gunpla or model kits of mecha, you'll want these as your own at some point or another. The nice part about this game is that everything just pops, whether it's the scenic background areas or the foreground set pieces. It all sticks out and never really loses itself to the high-octane action. Graphics remain beautiful and everything is uniquely stylized, showing off the distinct art style put before you by the artist and designers. Their style pops, giving the game both life and flair that we've not really seen in a game like this in recent times. It's unique and stands out, not just because of how beautiful it actually is, but how smooth the game plays. It's incredible, steady even. The frame rate seems to hone in on a steady 60 FPS, never dropping. Cutscenes are much the same, especially when using an ultimate ability and watching your weapon of choice shift to match the character's uniquely designed attack. That being said, there are moments when it does get a bit hard to see, especially in some of the darker underwater missions that you'll experience later on. Regardless, this game is an absolute marvel. If you're one that appreciates solid sound design, RocketPunch Games didn't pull their punches. Truth being, this is by far one of the best there is, but there are few design choices that confused us in the long run. As the game is heavily reliant on its visual novel-like scenery, much of the game is told through voice-dubbed dialogue in both traditional Chinese and Japanese. Even with both being options, it is confusing as to why only portions of the game are dubbed, while you'll find others that are lacking this bit of quality. The game itself is absolutely well designed, outside of a few sections where some dialogue is voiced, while the other half is absent of any voice acting whatsoever, during some of the game's most critical moments. That doesn't mean, however, you can't appreciate the well-acted main character roles that are spot on and very well done, leaving a lot to be desired from the scenes that weren't dubbed during the campaign. Even the game's opening theme, Dash and Strike by Hironobu Kageyama, is absolutely enjoyable and really seals the deal for this anime-like package. No matter what's going on, whether it's an explosion or a background piece, Hardcore Mecha doesn't fail to deliver a rather well-designed experience that is truly candy for the ears. Just wear headphones when you play so you can get the most out of the experience. Now, the gameplay is where this game really begins to shine, but not in its earliest hours. After all, you do have to adjust to the core gameplay itself, which truthfully can take some time. Once you get used to jetting around, however, alternating between hover and dash, you'll feel right at home, but it will take a bit. At first, Hardcore Mecha seems to be a fairly straightforward game of aim, shoot, and dash about on an as-needed basis. That changes rather quickly as you get the ball rolling on progression, making it so you'll be alternating between dashing around, hovering in the air, and shooting down enemy mecha along the way. You'll find there are some RPG-like elements tied into Hardcore Mecha's overall experience, where you'll level up, unlock new upgrades, weapons, and various limited-use items to assist you along the way. These items include tracking missiles like smart bombs, repair items, and barricades to keep enemies from damaging you. Other upgrades include the ability to unlock new weapons, attacks, and various other items along the way, including limited time use weaponry. Because of the number of upgrades there are, you'll want to spend time replaying some of the older missions, growing accustomed to the playstyle that some of them have. Each one can function quite differently than the other, making it a bit tougher at times to time your shots, blocks, and dodges, or changing your position on each of the maps. The tedium does begin to sit in during some of the game's later missions, where you'll find yourself having to navigate between both pilot and mecha suit itself. While there are only a few of them, it does break up the pace, showing some appreciation for stealth espionage titles such as Metal Gear. To break up the campaign, there are a few options that exist, including a survival mode, which will see you put your collection of skills to the test, ensuring that you know every in and out of each mech that you use. While you won't see gameplay footage here, it does emphasize your ability to survive, to use your mech to its fullest, and even encourages you to familiarize yourself with what equipment does what. If you aren't quite ready for that, you can always jump into the multiplayer that does come with its strong point, but also a weak point as one of the lowest notes of the game. Multiplayer does emphasize the idea of going online, leveling up, and unlocking different mech to use against your opponents. The downside we ran into, online multiplayer lobbies are seemingly non-existent, which is disappointing after experiencing the couch co-op multiplayer that sells itself from the very beginning. The ugly part about this, online multiplayer is almost required in order to unlock a much larger roster to use in local and online options. While this is a minor issue we ran into with the game, there are options to leveling up that include having your friends picking up the game, finding online communities, or simply just being patient and hoping for the best. That aside, this is an absolute marvel and throwback to everything we enjoyed from side-scrolling games of yesteryear. Except, for now, it's time for our conclusion. Is this a buy or a pass? Let's find out. We hope you enjoyed the review, and if you did, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more upcoming gaming content. This is Greg, signing off for Blast Away the Game Review.